Hello, everyone. I'm really happy to talk to you today. And today, what we're going to be talking is about sacred sexuality. One of the major aspects that we have in Tantra is the use and the acknowledgement of the sexual energy. The sexual energy is the capability that you have of co create, procreate, transform, alchemize. And when we talk about sacred sexuality, we tend to misunderstand what is the really deep thing about sexual energy and sacred sexuality. Our sexuality is defined in different ways, but when we talk about sexual energy is that potentiality that you have as a human being to create something, to create another, to procreate another human being, but also is the capability to empower yourself and to overcome with different things that are intrinsic in our mind, in our emotions. Mhm. Sexual energy by itself, it can be in different layers. It can be understood as a primitive instinct to procreate and to manifest something that is an urge, a need, and that in that need that you have, it can be manifested in different ranges, from the gains to do sex with somebody or intercourse with somebody, and this allowed us to start to sense the purpose that you have as a human being in a male body or in a female body. But let's try to think that one thing is our purpose, and one thing that's what we like, mhm, and what we are being fulfilled by in this pulsation of sexual energy, and that gives you a lot of answers what is happening in your life. Uh, Sexual energy by itself is connected to different layers of acknowledgement. Mhm. By itself, we can't divide it in two different sets. Sexual energy as the energy that is there in my first, second, and part of third chakra, and that is connected to my whole history as human being, but also is connected to the frequency and the endocrinal system that make myself as a human being. That sexual energy that is beholded over there and had the capability to move into my body and to create a different experience that is related over there. That's a sexual energy that is connected to my chakra system, to my psychocenters of energy, that is interconnected also to my psychocorporal history, my psychoemotional history, my psychosexual history. That is connected, and that has the capability to move me. And in by the University of Stanford, they have been research that this frequency that is emitting by my chakra system, and is the sexual energy by itself, it has around 3 times bigger the amount of hertz that can be generated in our body. This sexual energy is completely different from the sexual energy, is part of it, but in a different dimension. We can see it when we started to have an interrelationship with myself, an interrelationship of give me a different states of mind and awareness regarding the joy and the pleasure. When we talk about joy and pleasure and eros, when it's regarding sexual energy, it gives us different kinds of parameters that are there for us. When I get excited, that excitation comes from an stimulus, and that stimulus allows me to be connected in different layers of this sexual energy: physical stimulation, mm, energetical stimulation, erotical, meaning pleasure, not regarding sexually, because my sexual energy can be in layers and it can be feel in different ways. Once I go to the erotical, I can go to the sensual, meaning that this energy arouse my senses and arouse and sharp all the interconnection of the stimuli that I have from within, with a person, or with an object. And that's really amazing because the more I can understand how this sexual energy manifests, interact, and process, the more I can understand myself. Besides the sensorial sexual energy, we have the sexual energy when we get excited and it's overloading my body, and my genitalia is interconnected to that stimulus, and I'm completely overtaken in my erotical spots and in my erotical body. And then it comes something else. I got aroused. I got interconnected with my body, interconnected with the person or with the object or with my psychology, my psycho connection that is sexual, but all my body is connected through the genital. When I'm in awareness that these processes are happening in this long process of how the sexual energy manifests on myself, and when I'm interconnected to that, I'm in awareness what is happening with that, it creates conscious sexuality. This conscious sexuality that is coming there in this process, this conscious interconnection of my sexual energy, will allow me to have a process, this experience of being conscious in awareness what is happening with my body and what is happening with the person, what is happening with my intimate process. Once I'm in awareness of what is happening and what is producing on myself and what I'm learning from it, and how I can connect to this process that I'm passing from being in a biological stimulus just to interconnect, to perpetuate the human beings, or to take care of the human beings, that's my biological purpose of my sexual energy. Once I'm not there, that I'm in awareness that something else is happening, sacred sexuality is going to start to happen because I'm starting to know myself. I started to know what is happening with myself, and I started to know what is the interrelationship of myself with my intimacy, with my sexuality, with my sexual energy, and all the parameters that are over there, and the interrelation that is with myself, inside myself, with somebody or with an object. Mhm. And this is really important because once I started to know the process of how is becoming this into my body and myself, and what I like, what is the purpose, what is the connection to my erotical self, what is producing on me, but also how is the interaction of the energy and how all these things. It gives me knowledge that I didn't have about myself. It gives me knowledge about my body, and it gives me knowledge about how I behave and how I interact with myself in intimacy. This is sacred sexuality. This is I'm having a knowledge that allows me to see who I was, who am I, and if I wanted to use this knowledge, meaning who I wanted to be. These processes of knowledge and connecting and acknowledge in consciousness and make it mine, that's when sacred sexuality started to happen. And this is really amazing because instead of having a sexual intercourse, I'm having a spiritual experience of knowing who am I, who I was, and who I wanted to be. And that's when the journey of sacred sexuality starts. I'm sorry that today we didn't have no exercise. In the Tantra essence, I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about the importance of acknowledgement of sacred sexuality and why it's important for us in Tantra. I hope to see you soon, and I hope that we can make exercise regarding sacred sexuality. Have a wonderful day. Greetings from Poland. Thank you very much.